Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'm sitting here talking to you. I think it's interesting. I don't really think it's interesting. I think it's interesting when there's something horrible happens in the world, and someone of power comes out and says they denounce what's going on. I I don't know why people do that, but anyway, there's riots going on in Minnesota. But I mean, there's been riots going on every day for like the past 2 years, right? I'm not sure. You had all the Portland stuff. You had basically any place where there was some kind of police um, thing. There's been riots, and in any place where it's just a bunch of crappy people live, like Portland, there's been riots. Anyway, but there's riots going on in Minnesota because of a accidental police shooting because they were trying to tase a guy, and the officer reached for her gun instead of her taser, but she just thought it was the taser. So when she, was gonna shoot the taser, it was actually a gun. Okay. Um, Now, there's body cams, so people who think that this was on purpose. I mean, why would a cop just pull out a gun, shoot the guy when there's all these witnesses? You're on body cam. It was an accident. But the lesson is, why would you let it escalate if you're the person and there's cops are trying to put like handcuffs on you or trying to restrain you. There's like one of you. There's like four cops. What do you gain? I mean, like, this isn't a movie. You're not gonna you're not Bruce Lee. Yeah, I don't say like you're not Jackie Chan. You're not whatever. You're not gonna like break free. There's four of them. They all got weapons. It just makes no sense. So like the only thing you're doing is making them more agitated. So you have made the cops escalate their mode of restraint from like using their hands and handcuffs to having to like use a taser. It's like the people who, unfortunately, who are the victims, or I don't know if victims is the right word, but the people who are involved in these police shootings, most of them are the reason why it happened. Because if you would just do what the cop says, the cop has no reason to think, oh, I need to pull out a taser. It's I don't know. It seems like it's the lack of intelligence of the general populace. Also, the police are trained in a way to just keep using more and more force until things are under control, instead of like just let the person go and get him later. Because everything's on camera these days, so it's not like the person can get away. Um, but that's just how it is. But the police training has to be different too, because if someone's like resisting, there's unless the person obviously has like whatever a gun and is shooting people. If the person's just like whatever, a drug addict, or whatever, just a person who's like completely agitated and like you do need a bunch of people to restrain them, maybe it's best to just let that person go. Because once again, like, you can't hide your identity. You're on film. So okay, so let's say like you run away. Okay, well, we can still track you. So it's on both ends. But the problem is, if it gets to the point where like there's cops going, hey, stop. You're a suspect. We have to ask you some questions. Just answer the questions. And because if you're gonna give them trouble, that escalates. And who usually ends up on the wrong end of the escalation? The suspect. Usually, when someone is resisting arrest, who usually gets hurt? The person resisting arrest. This has been going on since cops have been instituted in our society. And weren't they? And like weren't cops instituted in our society, like back in the Roman times. So yeah, once again, I just think this is Darwinism. I really think this is Darwinism because like you you know the results of the past 3,000 battles of a suspect resisting arrest. That it's happened. I'm just using 3,000 as an arbitrary number. So 2,998 of those times, the suspect has lost. I'm sure maybe like one or two times, person like got away and ran and made it. But there's like a 99.9999% chance that you're gonna end up the loser in this situation. So why even like escalate it that far where they have to use weapons on you? I mean, even a taser can kill a person. There's been cases where a person's been tased and they had like a underlying heart condition and have passed away. Because it is a taser. You're shocking the body. That's not safe, but I guess it's least it's less force than using a gun on you. So they just gotta do what they gotta do. So people have to learn. Like, if a cop stops you, the worst thing that can happen is they cuff you and they take you in. That's like the worst thing that can happen to you if you just like do what they say. But if you resist, the worst thing that can happen to you is, well, it's a lot worse. So I don't know. And I think it's the media's fault. I really think it's the media's fault because like the media is you know there's some people who actually think that the cops are out patrolling the streets looking for people to assassinate. That's what some of the media will have you believe if you're you know inundated with the media all day. I like using three-syllable words. I think that was a four-syllable word. Okay, no one didn't like it. Anyway, they have some people who are just actually terrified of cops because you have people like LeBron James say, "We're being hunted in the streets." That's not true. You're not being hunted in the street. The fact that a person like LeBron James claims that it's unsafe and he feels unsafe just really, really advances the narrative and gets the wheels turning in sheep's heads, the populace, to be afraid of the police. The whole point of the police, because these same people who are afraid of the police, I bet you if something like crazy went down, they'd be the first people to call the police. Just like with any interaction, it's best just to keep things on the calm side. Usually, usually, both parties come out all right if things are on the less aggressive side of the dial. I've seen it with my own eyes. I forgot where I was like walking. I'm pretty sure I was walking to work, and a cop stopped a guy walking down the street, and the guy just started giving the cop attitude because the cop wanted to ask him a question if he saw someone because I overheard the whole conversation because I was walking by. But when the cop first stopped him, the guy's like, "What the fuck do you want? Like, what you like?" Just acting all crazy, acting very agitated, and I'm like, the cop just asked you a question. The way you're acting, you might get a response that is more aggressive now. Why escalate it? The cop was very nice. And the cop asked him a question, and he was just all agitated. And the cop said, "I'm just asking you a question." So just I don't get people, but those people, once again, it's another example. People like that are they can't fit socially into society because the average person, if there's whatever two, three, even one cop trying to question you, going, "Hey, we're gonna have to cuff you for a few minutes because you're a suspect," blah, 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 whatever. The average person just goes, "Okay," and that person usually fits in society. And then when things are over, they uncuff you, and you go and you just go on your way. Now imagine like that happens and you're fighting. Okay, well, it's not gonna come out in your favor, and that person probably doesn't really fit in with society. Probably already has a record. Probably listens to a Biggie Smalls. Oh god! And now there's riots. Give me a break. You drop a plate in your kitchen, there's a riot. If it was a black plate. The president said he denounces the riots in Minnesota. Well, thank God. Thank God Joe Biden said that. Because now I'm not going to riot. I just so many things. And now, if you, once again, Twitter does not represent America. There's 8 billion people on the planet. 200 million of them use Twitter. Out of those 200 million, 20% of that make up 80% of the tweets on Twitter. Okay. Anyway, Twitter, a lot of the people are mad at Joe Biden because he denounces the riots. I mean, there's just so much wrong with a lot of people. I mean, there's things wrong with me too, but I digress. Notice I'm pointing to my porn collection. Just kidding. So I don't know. Like everything's a riot now. America has more riots than like fast food locations. Like there's a riot for everything now. Like when is it gonna come to the point where it's like bougie to have a riot? Like, oh, so riot? Oh, that is so last year. I'm not gonna riot. What has to happen to make riots like uncool? You know? I don't know. Oh, I know what'll make rioting uncool. A socialist government. That was funny to me. Joe Biden said peaceful protests are okay, but no looting. You know every single peaceful protest when it involves something like this, it always ends up being a riot. You should have just said, "Don't do anything. Stay ass inside." I would have actually said, "No protesting. I don't care. Let them." And then they riot over that. The president said no protesting. Let's riot. You know, it must be hard being a cop these days. It must be hard being a cop because every time you're in an altercation like this, I mean, I don't know if it is, but it could be in the back of your mind going, "Oh God, if I mess up, it's gonna start a riot. If I mess up, it's gonna blah, it just all these other scenarios in your head, like you're thinking it might, you know. I'm assuming, and I'm just assuming that there are a lot less cops. And I'm saying that I'm saying that because I've seen I guess some like YouTube vids of police saying like I'm retiring, like I'm leaving. There's just like too much going on. Now, granted, it's only like 5 or 6, but they were doing it in areas where there was rioting. They're like it's been going on for too long. You know, the feel of the nation's just different. I'm paraphrasing, but like there's a cop in it was California. I forgot the city, but it was just saying like the feel of just the populace is different. It's just harder being a cop now. But then because you have the media saying the cops are bad, defund the police. What do you think defund the police means? The only people who want the police defunded are bad people. Every place in America where they've defunded the police, crime has skyrocketed. That's something you can look up on your own. Look it up. The cities that have taken money away from the police, crime has skyrocketed. The only people who want the police defunded are bad people. I've never seen times like this. See, the problem is, yeah, you do want less government, you do want less law. The only problem is most people can't handle it, and most people want it for nefarious reasons. So, gotta get rid of that first before you go full anarchy. Yeah, imagine like no laws, but everyone's a good person. And things just go smoothly. But like people aren't that good. I think there's more bad people than good people, unfortunately. I mean, look what's going on. Good people wouldn't be acting like this. On all fronts. I'm not just talking about cops. I'm not just talking about the protesters. I'm not just talking about this. I'm just talking about everyone. Just everyone. The way the world looks right now, there's more bad people than good people. Good people don't want to see all this. If the first thing you think of is rioting or violent protesting, because that's what's going on, when there's something that you don't like, there's a problem. If there's something you don't like and you think you have to do something negative, there's a problem. It's like every single quote unquote bad action the government or whatever cop or just something that you don't like, the general populace, their first reaction is to do something bad or take something away. No wonder everything's all messed up. Now I'm just sitting here looking at my K-pop collection going, I got it pretty good. But then, I'm smart enough to be apathetic and realize that I can only take care of my little situation, my little observable universe, which is roughly 2 city blocks. Okay. And these people who are rioting, I'm assuming most of them just want free stuff. Like I understand those UTs cost $3,000. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. But like the media, it's got to stop. Things are just going too far. Anyway, you guys have a good one. Peace.